Hey there, I just wanted to point out a few things that I noticed concerning the new Bluetti Elite 200 V2 power station. While this is a cool and exciting new product, and for someone just getting into the Bluetti power stations, I think this is an excellent product. I woke up this morning and saw it for sale with all the discounts. You know, it's $19.99 right now with a $900 off coupon on Amazon plus an additional 5% more off, bringing it down to like $9.99. And with tax, for me, it's about $1,073. And as a bonus, if you have the Amazon Prime card, you can get 5% cash back. So essentially that brings it down another like $50, $55, which is an incredible deal. So just over $1,000 total. And price per watt hour is awesome. I just wanted to share you my situation because I currently have the Bluetti AC 180, which I paid for out the door about $530. So pretty much half the cost of the brand new Elite 200 V2 power station. And when I woke up this morning and saw the deals and checked out the unit and was thinking, man, this is a killer deal, I was this close to purchasing the product today. But then I kept exploring and kept comparing and noticing that for the price point in my situation, it's not making the most sense yet. So for now, let me tell you why I'm choosing to hold off on the purchase for now. This might change. I might end up purchasing it later, but for now, let me just tell you why I'm deciding to hold off. Because I have the AC 180 right now, and if I chose to upgrade, I would sell the AC 180 probably on the used market. I would hope I could get around $400 for it, which means the upgrade would cost me $600 to $650 to go to the new unit. I just wanted to compare the specs. So if you go on Amazon's product page and you scroll down towards the bottom, they actually have a section where they compare the new Elite 200 V2 to the Bluetti AC 180, the AC 200L, and a couple other models as well. So if we're comparing it directly to mine that I currently have, the biggest difference is the 2,073 watt hours on the new one versus 1,152 watt hours on mine. And so that's roughly 56% of capacity of the new one, a little more than half. That's probably the biggest reason why I would decide to upgrade to that unit. All the other bells and whistles I don't think really matter. Mostly the battery capacity would be the reason why. But something you can do to help deal with battery issues is just expand your solar power system and have more solar power. Going through some of the other specs, the AC output is 2,600 watts on the new one versus 1,800 watts on the one I have. And honestly, I can't think of a situation where I would ever have a need to use more than 1,800 watts. Even an electric space heater only uses 1,500 watts. That can run every device that you plug into your household power, essentially, into your standard 110 volt 3-prong outlet. Okay, then moving on to the solar input, the new one can accept all the way up to 1,000 watts of solar input. And on the Bluetti AC 180, 500 watt max, so half the solar, which definitely is a big difference. But when I go camping, I bring most of the time up to 200 watts max. I might start adding more solar, but going over 500 watts of solar for my needs and situations just doesn't make sense. So while cool to have that feature available, I don't see myself utilizing the full potential of that. Then the battery type, the new one has over 6,000 cycles, and then the Bluetti AC 180 is over 3,500 cycles, so almost double the cycle count, but they're both the same lithium iron phosphate style batteries. 3,500 cycles, I'm still not going to be able to surpass that because I don't use it on a daily basis. I just use it when we're camping and as a home backup emergency power, those types of situations. So having more life cycles isn't as much of a benefit to me as I see it for my situation. And then if we look at the dimensions, they're basically the same. I mean, 13.8 to 13.4, 9.8 to 9.7, 12.7 to 12.5. So they're the identical form factor. They're basically the same dimensions. Now, where it does vary a bit more is the new one is 53.4 pounds and the 180 is 35.3 pounds. And the numbers actually just reverse, 53, 35, which is kind of funny. But that's roughly an 18-pound difference. And hauling around 50 pounds for some people might be a bit more challenging. Something that I care more about is how much weight I'm carrying in gear when I go camping, because that can all add up very quickly. So those are some specs you just want to keep in mind. So going just a quick review of those, the battery capacity is almost double on the new one. And then the AC output is 2600 watts. So there's more AC output, more solar input, more charging recycles, and it's the same dimensions, which is cool, just heavier. So there's a lot of cool upgrades and features on the new model. For the way that I use the power station, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense for someone in my situation to upgrade quite yet. Really, the only thing that really matters is the battery capacity. That just prolongs how long you can use the power. One area where that matters to me a lot more is I use an electric skillet when camping, which zaps out the AC 180 very quickly. So I have to be very mindful with how much power I'm drawing and how quickly I cook a meal in the electric skillet, just to make sure I have enough to still run the fridge and charge phones and other devices. So having that extra battery capacity would be useful. I'm paying double what I paid for the AC 180 just to extend that life, when I could just go buy some solar panels to extend my battery. So kind of a lot of thoughts there. It just doesn't make sense for me to purchase the new one yet. And a couple other things I wanted to point out too. I noticed on the AC 180, I have the wireless phone charger on top. And I noticed on the new Elite 200 V2, it does not have a wireless phone charger on top, which is not a deal breaker, but it's something that I definitely value and have found convenient. Another thing I wanted to also add out there too is for basically the same price as the new one, $999, you can get the Bluetti AC200L for the same price, $1,000. And it has basically the same battery capacity at 2048 watt hours. It also has an output of up to 2400 watts, so that's only 200 watts less than the new Elite 200 V2. In fact, the AC input is much higher at 2400 watts versus 1800 watts on the new one. And actually, the solar input is higher at 1200 watts that you can put into the AC200L versus 1000 watts on the Elite 200 V2. It has half the life cycles of 3000 cycles. You just have to weigh that decision if that really matters in your situation. And then the weight is heavier. It's 61.6 pounds. So that is a very heavy unit on the AC200L versus 53.4 pounds on the Elite 200 V2. But it really just depends on your situation. See, the AC200L, I'm pretty sure, does come with a wireless phone charger, and it also has an RV 30 amp outlet plug on the device, which that's pretty sweet. So it really just depends on how you're planning to use the power station and what makes the most sense for you. So I hope this video has been helpful. I just wanted to throw it out there. Again, I am definitely a Bluetti fan. I love their products. I love seeing all the new tech they come out with. I just noticed a few things before I pulled the trigger to buy this new one they came out with, that for people in my situation, it really doesn't make sense to upgrade to that unit. And here's another thought too. Between all the power station companies, Bluetti, EcoFlow, Jackery, and a bunch of different, there's countless power station brands out there. Nowadays, each of these companies are constantly coming out with new products, new technology, higher battery capacity, more useful, more ports. Just they're always coming out with with new designs, new products that are very helpful. And it's like a few times every year per company that they're introducing these new products and at new lower prices. It's hard, especially if you're going to invest a lot of money into this technology. It's pretty difficult to make the choice to invest a few thousand or several thousands of dollars into these products for like home backup power when these companies are constantly producing new products. And so that's something you want to be careful of. Just in the past few years, I've seen so many advances in these power stations that had you invested several thousand a few years ago, it's not even worth half that today. And it depends on your situation and whatnot. But with the products they have coming out today, they're just so much more useful than they were just a few years ago, or even just last year sometimes. So you definitely want to be careful with how much money you invest into these power stations, because technology is constantly evolving and they're always coming out with something better and better. I think right now they're definitely on that exponential graph curve, and eventually we might see a plateau where products don't become, super advanced. Kind of like with the iPhone. The first iPhones saw huge upgrades, and now we're kind of at a plateau where each model year upgrade isn't that much different than the last year. You won't notice much of a difference. If we ever reach that point with the power stations, that's the best time to buy, because you're getting all the latest features, the latest product, everything for a good solid price. So, because the technology and the price, they match up and they line up, so you get the best bang for your buck without missing out on some crazy new updates coming later on in the year. So anyways, I hope this video was helpful. There's no hate against Bluetti or any of these power stations. I really love them. I love what they're doing. It's really cool and fascinating. This video is just to make sure you make a wise financial purchase and not do what I almost did and get excited about purchasing a new product when it might not actually make total sense for your particular situation. So I hope that was helpful. Thanks for watching. Please leave a like. If you have a little more time, leave me a comment and consider subscribing to the channel. It would greatly help me out, and I appreciate your support. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching.